Hey there, welcome back. So I didn't get a chance to post last week. Essentially I've just been working on the game, as you probably imagined, considering this is a devlog. Just in case you haven't actually seen this game before, it is pretty much what it says on the tin. It's an indie hoverboard racing game. So the idea behind the game is that there haven't really been any particularly successful hoverboard games, which is kind of interesting to me. It's always been a mechanic that's been kind of around, especially in sci-fi games, so it's existed as something you can do in a game, but not pretty much as a game itself. So I did some research looking about what's kind of out in the market at the moment. And there are a few kind of multiplayer games, a lot of multiplayer games around, and so I thought I'd try and be a little bit different, make it not a multiplayer game primarily, even though you'd expect, especially with hoverboard racing and so on, for there to be multiplayer. I kind of wanted to develop especially the demo first and get it out in the world, but also go for a different angle with it. So rather than just being a strictly racing game, where racing games can kind of get a little bit boring, if I'm honest. You're kind of just doing the same thing over and over. A little bit like Mario Kart World, which has just come out this year. Unfortunately only on the Switch 2, which is a big shame. I kind of want a racing game which also has an open world component. So a big part of this project has been, so I started off with essentially a combat system. I don't know why my feet are sinking into the ground there. Starting off with a combat component. This was from a system called Combat Fury, which is pretty cool, and essentially the aim was to combine that with hoverboard mechanic. I then spent a lot of time just making sure that the hoverboard mechanic itself was just super smooth and just felt really nice. Let's see whether I can show you some combat one here. Here we go, we've got a dyno. Cool. So enemies can do dodging and that sort of stuff, which is pretty cool. It's also got a leveling system built in. I've customized it quite a lot now. So I've kind of built it into the other systems where you do more damage once you level up and that sort of stuff. I also built in kind of a mini game where you go around and collect crystals. I've actually collected all the crystals in this particular map now. Oh, he says, is that a crystal? Hey, found a crystal, there you go. So you can run over these with your hoverboard, or if I can get up there, I could smash it with my sword. And then you basically go and hand in these crystals to a guy who's over here. So as you can see, whizzing around pretty fast at the moment, but this is because it's the end of the game. So I've basically collected enough crystals. Every time you collect crystals, you put it into your board and you get faster and faster and faster. So I'll just take you back to the start of the game. I'm just going to waffle on for 5 minutes or so, kind of talk about the aims of the game and that sort of stuff. So first thing, well, what I've been doing for the past kind of 2-3 weeks is pretty much just sorting out the save game and just adding in some new features so that, for instance, the game remembers where you are at any given time, and all that sort of stuff. So we've got remembers the level, remembers crystals, the amount of playtime, so I've been playing this one for an hour, and the percentage that's complete. Again, this is a custom event that just gets fired. You can also choose gender, so I'll go and switch to a female for now. Idea behind this essentially was inspired by Ocarina of Time, one of my favourite games growing up as a kid, where you start as a child in Ocarina of Time, and that will be the demo in this game, and then you essentially, even though you go through, so you get a companion here who is your robot companion. It's called Eva. Please let me know if you think there is a better name, but Eva seems to work. Pardon me. And then you play through the demo, find a way back home, but you can't actually get back home until the game's released, at which point you're a grown adult. The game's actually due for release next year, hopefully May, we'll see. So this is our female companion, or female character I should say. So we've got the climbing component. This is integrated with Gasp. So Combat Fury comes integrated with Gasp. It's not perfect, as in Gasp not perfect, obviously it's still kind of in development, but the setup that I've got at the moment isn't quite perfect either. Like a little bit of clipping through walls and stuff at the moment, which is not ideal. So yeah, so you can target these guys exactly like Ocarina of Time or a lot of third-person games, or you can just attack. So the difference between that is, so we've got light attacks where they'll basically take into account the direction that you're facing. This is more important when it comes to a mouse, whereas the big attacks, they're ballistic, so they'll only ever go in one direction. Cool. We've also got some extra stuff. Oh, I died. That's okay. We've got some extra stuff built in to the project here as well, which is kind of cool. So again, Gasp helped me, Combat Fury helped me set up a lot of things quite quickly, so that I could pretty much just focus on the hoverboard element. So it's nice to have all this stuff inside. So as you can see here, there's a little bit of clipping through the walls. The difficulty is, because it's not a major component of my game, I don't want to spend too much time like trying to make it perfect. I don't necessarily want to rebuild it either. So I do have access to the latest version of Combat Fury, so it's possible that it resolves some of these issues, but kind of the problem is it still sort of works quite well with boxes and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, so we have a snake machine in here that's essentially going to move us to this quest, and we go and rescue this mechanic lady. Journal flash red when you've got enemies nearby, just to kind of bring your attention to them. I don't know what you saw there, it did actually go green as well, just to highlight points of interest. Again, kind of stealing from Ocarina of Time and Navi specifically. Just not going to do all the like, hey listen, because that's quite annoying. So the best bits of Zelda, ideally, that's the plan anyway. And yeah, the plan for the actual game will be to have bosses and so on, dungeons, all that sort of stuff. So we've got kind of a mini dungeon in this level. Let's talk about that real quick. So if you can see over there, well, I'll see it in a second. I'm just going to sprint over here. So at the moment I can dodge, by the way. So if I press B or tap B, then I can dodge. And if I'm holding down left trigger, I can dodge backwards, dodge sideways, and so on. I'm just going to test this, make sure this is all working. So if you fall down, my kill box is not working for some reason. That's interesting. Need to go and test that one. Luckily, I put in stuck function. Yeah, it seems to work sometimes and not at other times, which is kind of annoying. So anyway, so now we are across the bridge. So basically it takes you to the closest checkpoint to where you were. So we'd actually cross the bridge on that one. Usually it's just a case of crossing the bridge and getting to the blue marker. I'm taking a slightly longer way around. So if you haven't seen this project before, the demo's due for release, hopefully, I want to say next week, but I'm still working through a few little bugs. It's mainly states to do with the quests, which is a little bit frustrating because the main part of the game is ultimately hoverboarding. If I was to go back and do it all differently, maybe I would think about making it a bit more basic for the demo. But ultimately I wanted it to be reflective. So just a little bit of a note about gameplay. So you can see on the right hand side where you've got the jump button. So I'm pressing jump at the moment, you can see this flashing. And then next to it we get the B, that actually says hold B, I don't know whether you can see that. So if you look up, this actually changed to rocket, and if I hold B now, it'll actually shoot me in that direction. So basically if you look up, then you can do it. Also if you're jumping, then it will change. So if I'm jumping and I hold B, then it will do that. Cool. It doesn't fire exactly straight at wherever you're pointing. It actually points a little bit up, because otherwise you'd have to get right there in order to go straight up. it's just a quality of life type deal. This is something that's going to come through playtesting, hopefully aiming to do some playtesting, like in-person playtesting, over the next couple of weeks. I've got some guys near me who own an internet cafe. Obviously I need to get it, well, the project's on Steam, but I just need to test the actual demo itself on Steam, so I'll be happening in the next couple of weeks. And again, that's something that might slow down the actual release of the demo itself. In any case, so one of the main mechanics in this game are just getting the player used to being able to jump with the hoverboard to get places where you might not be able to reach just with the hoverboard by itself. There's another game, I'm gonna hate myself for not remembering the name of it. It's like a surfboard hoverboard game that came out recently, and yeah, they have a similar sort of mechanic, same kind of deal. Okay, so now we've got our hoverboard, we can actually get on it. So it's a right bumper to get onto it. And then a little bit like Mario Kart, if you hold left, then you actually do a power slide. What this does is this increases the amount that you can turn, and also means that you can charge your board. So, I don't know whether you saw the instructions there, but essentially once you get on your board, if you hold left and a direction, then it will start to spin blue and you'll begin collecting energy. If I now keep that held down and change to the other side, then it will go yellow. So on the board itself, you can see that you've got the blue kind of spinny thing, that's how much energy you've collected, and the yellow shows you what kind of boost you are. So you have single boost or double boost. Double boost, so it kind of shoots you up a little bit as well as forwards, more so when you have a specific component, but we'll kind of come into components a little bit later. So these are some of the crystals that we were talking about before. Another element or another thing that you can do is if you're holding left and you build some energy, if you wanted to store that energy, then you essentially get like one full cache. So you'd press A and that will store your cache, which means that you've now got twice the amount of energy, and then you can release that in just like a burst. So why would I want to do this? Well, actually one other thing to explain, you might see that as we go straight, so you can see that I'm turning here and the blue bar in the middle is going down, and when I go straight, the blue bar fills up. It carries on filling up until it gets right to the end. So this is momentum essentially. So whenever you turn, you reduce your momentum, which is essentially your speed, your maximum speed. So when you turn, you reduce your maximum speed, and then when you don't turn at all. So just changing the camera actually turns the board. So I'm using the right stick at the moment. You can see that we're reducing momentum. However, if you power slide, yes, you reduce momentum, but there is a trade-off, because when you release, you essentially give yourself a free boost. So if I was to just hold it down all the time, you'd see it'd be going very, very slowly. So now, even though we've got a boost going on, we basically traded our straight line speed for the momentum boost. So you press it without turning, then it doesn't actually do anything. It's only once you start to turn, that's when you start collecting energy and start trading. So cool. So essentially what we're doing is we're looking for straight line speed most of the time. We do a power slide, and then we get a boost off the slide. Cool. Another thing as well, so when we've got the slide down, then the camera actually spins a lot more quickly. So you can see, we can basically point us in the direction we want to go, and we go there. Slide, face the way we want to go, and go there. Whereas this is sliding, well, this is just looking normally. So you can see that I just went over a box and I picked up an item. So if I press R2 now, it'll basically use the item. So it's a little bit like a star in Mario. You can see you've got the ball around me. If I go and hit anyone while I've got that ball active, then I will slow them down. I'll basically knock them, hit them, like give them like a crash type deal. I just picked up 2 more items. So this one is like a rocket, which it just fires straight like a green ship. And I've pressed R2, then just give us a boost. So we can come over here now. Let's go and have a race with this chappie. This chappie's called Brock. He is a burly fellow. Essentially, it's just a short circuit around the track, and if we beat him, then he'll give us a component. Cool. So you can see the different colours on the different races. Essentially they are how difficult each racer is. So we go from red to green. So the custom races are always red, always the most difficult. And it's just scaling difficult. So this is the first race, it's the least difficult of all the races. It's still fairly tricky, just takes a little bit of getting used to. You can see we've got the arrow there, so if we go too far away from the race, it will actually give us a pointer back. I've got a little companion guy as well, who follows us around. One kind of unexpected or unintended consequence of having a companion who keeps up with you is that essentially they're a pace setter. So you can see, if you can't see them, then you know that you're keeping a fairly good pace. So I'm just going to go over here. And it's going to point me back to the track, which is pretty cool. Now you can see I've picked up 2 rockets. So I've got one that's just a straight one there, and then we've got this double rocket, which will essentially seek out the player who is directly so in the position in front of me. So I'll ignore people who are behind me and just go for people in front of me. So they get a trail once they've been hit, just to show you. Now we can see one of the players use a time skip. So time slows down for everybody, and it tells you what player you use the time skip. What I've got here is 2 mines, so gravity mines, and they're a little bit like bananas in Mario Kart. That'll kind of drop them behind me. Anyone that goes over them be in trouble. You can only pick up 2 items at any given time. Once we finish the race, I think I'll keep them. Oh no, I'll lose the items. So now it says we've beaten Brock Donner. And he's given this the first artifact, and he also gives us another item as well called the Momentum Turbo, which if we go to here, haven't actually got a tooltip yet. One of those things in a demo you kind of need to just decide what things are really vital to show. So we've got a tooltip that says Momentum Turbo but doesn't really tell you what that is. I might put a description here down about what that is at some point, although these will be collectible items, so like health pickups and so on. So anyway, so now we've got Momentum Turbo. What it means is that if we do a single blue boost and then we release it, then we get this kind of spiral that comes out the back, and then we get the component kind of spins on the board. Essentially what that does, it allows you to build up momentum really, really fast. So if we do a longer pause break here, and again, don't go to yellow, otherwise it won't be activated. Oh, I think I maybe didn't activate that. Cool. So it shows you how quickly you can build up momentum. So again, you're getting the benefit of building up the board, and you're also building up momentum super quick as well. Cool. It's probably the most powerful item in the game, to be honest. So I just want people to get through the first race, feel comfortable with the controls, and then feel like they've got a super powerful item they can pull off. Cool. So I'll just take a quick look at these. These essentially are big, just big routes around the map that can help you get around much more quickly. They also play a little bit of a role later on, but I don't want to spoil that for anyone. So just ways to just feel like you can get around the map nice and quickly. Essentially like a little bypass route. They don't play too much of a role in the races themselves, hopefully. I kind of tried to make it so that it was just more about just getting about around the map. Cool. So as you can see, as you get faster, the map, the camera does pull out a bit. So you just kind of can see a lot more. I'm going to cover this in another video, but if you're looking up, you actually get a lot bigger view of the world. So, cool. So I think for this particular devlog, I'm probably just gonna leave a video of some of the progress that I've been making so far, just in terms of save games and how the races look and stuff. But yeah, so as for this devlog, I just kind of wanted to put something out there really, because it's been a little while since I posted, and just sort of say the plan and kind of what I've been working on. So main things are just polishing, bug fixing, especially to do with quests. Quests are always a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. And then mainly save game stuff as well. So quests, save game stuff, working out why things are being quirky, trying to make improvements where I can. So thinking about one big improvement would probably be the UI. So just having it a bit more obvious about what things are. Tutorials as well, just trying to guide people a little bit more so when they're playing the game they feel comfortable. That's kind of the goal anyway. So yeah, I'm just gonna really quick just show you the gravity grenade, gravity drop, gravity force, whatever you want to call it, gravity thing, gravity bomb, maybe. It's not necessarily a bomb. Anyway. Okay, perfect. So I managed to get one. So if I drop it now, you can see. So it's kind of like this. It doesn't actually affect you for the first 5 seconds it's there, and then it affects you. So as you can see, when you get hit, it affects your rotation. So you can't rotate the board properly. So I'll show you an example of that. And one final improvement, one other improvement I'm probably going to make is just make it a bit more obvious when you get hit. So you kind of got this purple trail that comes off, but just want to make it so that it doesn't feel like it's too broken whenever you get hit. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me. Hopefully someone sees this and is interested in the game. If you are interested in the game, please go ahead and wishlist. That would be absolutely fantastic. I believe I have 14 wishes so far, which is not done, so I'm very grateful for that. I'm just trying to make it so that anyone who does decide to play the game has the best experience possible, and hopefully it doesn't run into too many bugs. So the next week we'll be hopefully getting on to Steam testing, clearing up anything which needs to be cleared up, and then working out a plan for the kind of first stages of the actual game itself. So I got to see one bug there, for instance. So after the sequence, for some reason this guy ends up here. There's no logic to it, there's no rhyme, there's no reason, he just does. I think this is actually, thinking about it, this is where the player ended up. So this is where he was in the race when the race finished. That's obviously just not cleaning him up properly, it's not destroying him. So it's kind of interesting to, a few little things like that just to sort out. But ultimately, I'm pretty happy with the state of the game and the demo. And thanks very much for paying attention to me while I rattle on. All the best, and bye.